Okay, this week on the rundown, we have the NFL kneeling controversy, we have the late term abortion bill, and we have our theology lesson of the week. You're watching Conscious Christian.
Politicians are corrupt. Politicians are corrupt.
So, this week on Conscious Christians, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. We have so much to talk about. We have had such a busy news week and a lot of things going on. But we thank you for tuning in and giving us your ear. So to kick things off, we've got the national anthem protests. And so the NFL kneeling controversy has been something that's been bad for sports. It's been bad for sports fans, and I think it's been bad for all patriots. At the same time, we can see this as a winning political issue for Donald Trump. You see, the average American sitting on the couch watching a football game, when they see these NFL players kneeling, they're kneeling during the national anthem, they're kneeling during the flag, the bringing out of the flag, they're kneeling during the honoring of the military veterans on the field. So what do you think if you're an average American sitting on the couch? You don't think that these people are protesting racial injustice. What you think is that these people are protesting the flag, our country, our military, etc. So, what these players say is they do say that they're protesting racial injustice, but visually and through appearances, it doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it. And we can see this through the polls, because the polling shows that 58% of Americans believe that athletes should be required to stand for the national anthem. That is required to stand for the national anthem. 55% of Americans believe that kneeling during the national anthem is an inappropriate way to protest. And we see that 60% of Americans think there is a more appropriate way to protest. There's a more appropriate place and apparently time to protest. So the NFL has been taking some heat over this. They've really been taking some heat. We just see that a national partner, advertisement partner, just pulled from the NFL. Viewership is down. Viewership has decreased. It was decreased by 10% on Sunday, 13% on Thursday. We see national backlash by people burning tickets, people burning jerseys, people burning memorabilia, things like that. Take a look at these clips right here of people burning stuff.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly?
So, why are people burning stuff? Why is it such a national backlash? Why? Because people feel it's disrespect to our country military flag. I mean, now we also must note that 58% of Americans don't think players should be fired for kneeling. And this is in response to the incendiary comments made by Donald Trump at his Alabama rally. And this is important because the movement was started by Colin Kaepernick, but it was dying out. It was started by Colin Kaepernick, last year, and it was the movement was dying out until Trump's incendiary comments at his Alabama rally, and that's when players all over the NFL started kneeling, and a lot of Americans understood, and I don't think you can think whatever the left or the liberals or the sort of elites think, the American people aren't stupid. So we see that Trump made his incendiary comments, and then we see this huge backlash, and all over we see people starting this kneeling protest in the NFL. Now, do we think that these people are kneeling because of racial injustice now, or do we think that these people are kneeling because of Trump? Do we think they're kneeling in response to what Trump says? So I think it really, all this backlash in the NFL isn't kneeling in response to racial injustice more so than it's kneeling in response to Donald Trump. And all these people, obviously, leftists really hate Donald Trump, liberals really hate Donald Trump, they hate what he has to say. And do I think that, and do most Americans think that, we were talking earlier, they say that 58% Americans think that no NFL players should be fired for their protest because it's a First Amendment right. And it comes down to that's a First Amendment right. But this protest, more or less, is in backlash to what Donald Trump has to say, and it's polarizing. Donald Trump's remarks were very polarizing. These people who want to kneel, it's very polarizing, but it's a big win for Donald Trump because it's clear the polls say that the majority of Americans feel it's unpatriotic and it's disrespectful to the military, to the flag, and to the country to protest during that time. So, what we want to know is comment below. Tell us what you think. Do you think it's disrespectful to kneel during the national anthem, or do you think that the players are doing the right things? We would love to hear your thoughts on the issue, and we would love to hear what you have to say about it. Next thing on the docket we have is the late-term abortion bill. Okay, the bill is actually called the Pain-Capable Unborn Child Protection Act, and it's being proposed by Representative McCarthy, Representative Trent Franks. Now, what does this bill entail? Funny you should ask. So, what it means is that it's a unilateral bill on all abortions performed after 20 weeks, and there's no disputing that science has proven that after 20 weeks in the womb, the child in the womb can feel pain after the 20-week gestation period. But of course, this bill does make exceptions for the usual exceptions: rape, incest, life-threatening circumstances. What this bill also does is it puts a punitive punishment on women who go through with abortions after 20 weeks. They have fines, possible jail time, whatever. But as much as this is being proposed as a win for pro-lifers, the sad fact is that really only 1.3 to 1.7% of abortions are actually performed after that 20-week gestation period. 91.6% of abortions are performed less than 13 weeks into the pregnancy. So while late-term abortions are almost unilaterally condemned, except for extreme left-wingers, this would be a win for the pro-life movement, but not too much of a win because it's only 1.3 to 1.7 of all abortions performed. So we would like to hear your comments on this as well. What do you think about the abortion bill proposed? Do you think it goes too far? Do you think it doesn't go far enough? 1.3 to 1.7% of abortions. What do you think? Comment below. Tell us what you think. We would love to hear your thoughts on that issue. And so finally what we come down to is the theology lesson of the week. And with all this crazy rhetoric that's going on, all the mess that's going on in the media and the controversies and things that's going on, but what I want to focus, and what we thought here we would focus on in the theology lesson of the week, is forgiveness. And forgiveness is such a broad thing, and I know a lot of people are throwing out there, forgiveness and Christianity and things like that. But here's what the Bible has to say about forgiveness. In Matthew 18:21 through 22, it says, "And then Peter came to him and said, Lord, how often shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Till 7 times? Then Jesus said unto him, I say not unto thee until 7 times, but until 70 times 7. So the focus here is not on the calculation, which is 490 times that Jesus is saying. The focus, if Peter would have said, how should I forgive how often should I forgive my brother 490 times, Jesus would have said a much greater number. The focus here is that you should be forgiving somebody more than you can imagine. So Peter says 70 times. Jesus says 490 times. It's 70 times greater than what Peter said. 70 times greater. So if Peter would have said 490 times, it would have been 70 times 490. So, it's just, what it is just an unfathomable amount greater than what you believe you should forgive. And so Jesus says, and he pushes to continually forgive people more and more. And in fact, in the Bible, it states in Lamentations 3:22 through 3:23, the steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning, and great is your faithfulness. So if God's mercy is renewed every morning toward us, how often should we renew our mercy toward our fellow brethren? How often should we forgive? And Jesus says we should forgive far beyond what we think is necessary. And that's a unifying message. Jesus forgives us, we forgive other people. So that's what I want to spread this week. That's what I want you to spread this week. Please go out, spread forgiveness. If you have anything that holding a grudge against somebody, just forgive them. Jesus says 7 times, 70 times, an unfathomable amount, more than you can imagine, more than you can fathom, more than you think is necessary. So, in closing, that's all we have for today. Thank you for watching Conscious Christian. If you liked what we had to say, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. And here on Conscious Christian, we want to know what you think. Hit us up in the comments below. Tell us what you think. If there's a topic that you think we should cover, if there's a theology lesson that you have questions on and you want us to answer, or that you think we should cover, please tell us in the comments below. And as always, we love you. See you next week on Conscious Christian. Thank you.